You know, 5 years ago, this past April, in fact, Apple had basically brought the tablet computer into the mainstream with the very first iPad. And I remember seeing this in person. One of the big pluses was that for somebody like me who requires special software to get some things done, this device was accessible right out of the box. On the Android side, you had things like the Motorola Zoom, which, as I recall, this was back when LTE was first starting to roll out, and in order for you to get the Zoom that had the LTE on board, you had to put out, I think it was close to $800, which was just nuts. Still is, at least for something this size. You have to look at the competition from the time, remember. You also had the smaller competition in the form of the iPad mini. On the Android side, you have devices like the Dell Venue 7000. And for some reason, this rather bizarre Lenovo Meeks 8 Windows tablet. I actually saw one of these in the store once. It was an absolute disaster. I'd rather not go into details because I actually made a video about this about a year ago. So, this is all fine and good for most people. What if, however, you're like me, and as I mentioned at the beginning, you have special circumstances that require you to use large print, for example? This is where a large screen tablet can come in handy, and I'm not talking about something like the Zoom or the original iPad. I'm talking bigger. This is where the iPad Pro can really come into its own. A lot of people in the reviews have said that I don't need an iPad Pro. Well, for the vast majority of people, that's true. The vast majority of people don't need the horsepower. The vast majority of people are fully sighted. The vast majority of people wouldn't even consider the kind of speech output technology that is required by many. But consider this. Consider that you woke up one morning and you couldn't see very well. You could still see, but nowhere near the amount that you could see before to comfortably use something like the Meeks or the Venue 7000 or the iPad mini. And try as you might, the iPad Air is usable, but perhaps you wanted a bigger screen. Aha! That's where something like the iPad Pro would come into play. And not just the iPad Pro. The Microsoft Surface Pro 4. Although I must speak on a personal level, I don't think the operating system is necessarily suited for the tablet space. They've made improvements, but it's not quite there yet. Another example in the Windows space is the Microsoft Surface Book. I actually held one of these the other day. It's very light. The big screen in terms of a tablet is very easy to work with. And this being Windows, you can install any software that you may need on it, whether be it Zoom Text, JAWS, NVDA, or what have you. On the Android side, you've got the Samsung Galaxy Note Pro 12.2, which is a rather interesting case because a specialty company by the name of Humanware has taken the Galaxy Note Pro 12.2 and developed a custom home screen and special software that you cannot get in the Google Play market to turn this into a 12-inch video magnification system. The device is basically a standard Samsung Galaxy Note 12.2 with a customized home screen, additional accessibility software, and a video magnifier suite that basically kicks anything in Google Play out of the water. And they've also developed this special adapter for it. So that's a rather unique case. Another rather unique case in this large tablet category is the Samsung Galaxy View. The Samsung Galaxy View makes the other tablets like the Note Pro 12.2, the Surface Books, the Surface Pro, the iPad Pro, all of them makes it, the View makes them look positively tiny. Now the View is not necessarily meant as a portable device, but if you're somebody with vision loss, this might actually not be a bad idea. Keep in mind that Android as a whole is right up there with Windows in terms of it being unpredictable, and the chances of your user experience varying are considerably higher than they would be with an iPad Pro. It also depends on the type of software you need. If, for instance, you just need video magnification, then with the exception of Windows, because I don't know of any piece of software that actually utilizes the rear camera to be a true video magnifier, there are USB add-ons like mouse magnifiers you can get that will turn your screen into a monitor for a magnifier, but in terms of turning the entire tablet itself into one, I haven't seen anything yet. There's also something on the Android side. Offhand, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's the Ideal Magnifier. So there's something out there that'll work on all platforms. There's also something out there that'll work for the National Library Service for iOS and for Android. There is not an application out there for Windows. Another example would be Bookshare. There's an app. There's the Voice Stream Reader for iOS. There is the Read2Go app for Windows and the Macintosh. And there's also the Go Read app for Android. It also comes down to what kind of user experience you want. In terms of uniformity, ease of use, and reliability, iOS is the way to go. In terms of flexibility and power, you'd probably be better off with a Windows machine. And if you're out there, if you want to try something different, then Android is certainly an option. Now, the reason I put Android in the different category is because in terms of the accessible software market, iOS has the mobile space cornered. More than likely, the kind of software a user with low vision would need will be available either on the Macintosh or on Windows. And in terms of the tablet space, if the iPad is not necessarily what you're looking for, you want something with more power, you need to run Zoom Text, then in the tablet space, Windows is your only option. Android has software that will work, and I put work in quotes because, again, with the variations in software and hardware, there's no telling what kind of user experience you're going to have. Now, there is a caveat on the Android side, and that has to do with the Galaxy View. There is no rear camera on the Galaxy View. The Galaxy View was never really meant to be a portable tablet solution. It would really be cumbersome to carry it around, but if you're looking for a notebook replacement, then that might be an option. So too would the this is the HumanWare Prodigy 12.2, which takes again the Samsung Galaxy Note Pro 12.2 and turns it into a usable video magnifier that also has access to the Google Suite and just happens to be an Android tablet. In terms of pricing, the base iPad Pro is $799 for 32 gigs. The software is free with the exception of Voice Dream Reader, which is $10, but in my opinion, very well worth it. The Microsoft Surface Pro 4 is $899 to start, but remember, you're getting a full Windows computer. I don't need to go into what software is available in the access technology industry on Windows. You more than likely already know. Same goes with the Surface Book. On the operating system front, on the hardware, you're paying $1,500, and that's because you get a keyboard dock included. One caveat with the Surface Book is, while you might be getting a bigger screen, you're paying a significantly higher upfront cost, plus the battery in the tablet portion, the screen, is nowhere near as robust as it is in the Surface Pro 4. Now, the Surface Pro 4, in terms of battery life, can't compare to the iPad Pro, but it's still better than the Surface Book. We'll get to battery life in a moment. You got the Samsung Galaxy Note Pro 12.2 is $649. The Prodigy 12 is the most expensive solution on this list at $2,395, but again, this is a custom-built solution that cannot easily be replicated outside of this, outside of HumanWare, especially for a tablet this size. I'm not saying that it couldn't be done, but to put together the components individually, who knows? You might end up paying more, and the key to remember is the software that they pack into this thing cannot be downloaded in Google Play. And the Samsung Galaxy View is $599, but again, you got the screen size to contend with. The thing is, I've actually seen it. It makes the iPad Pro look tiny. Battery life. I made a mention before, and I would talk about this. iPad Pro is 10 hours. Surface Pro 4 is supposedly 9, but most people are getting 6. The tablet alone for the Surface Book is roughly 1.5 to 3 hours, depending on use. You couple it to the keyboard and you get about 12 hours. The Galaxy Note Pro 12.2, I believe, is 8 hours. I don't know that for a fact. And I believe, again, it would be the same thing for the Prodigy because it is a Galaxy Note Pro 12.2. And the Samsung Galaxy View, that device would run, I'm going to say, maybe 5 to 10 hours. I don't know. Again, this device is primarily meant for the home above all else. But these are your options if you're a user with low vision who wants a tablet. I honestly think that a 12-inch screen would be the way to go because it's easier to see. The icons are bigger. Again, with Windows, you know what you can do with that. I don't need to explain it. With Android, there are solutions available. They may be hit or miss. So, in my personal opinion, if you needed something, I would personally go between the iPad Pro if you wanted something simple, reliable, and practically virus-proof. Or if you need the additional power, go with a Windows device. But that's basically my take. Bigger tablets can really be a boon to people with poor eyesight. Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.